How's it going? My name's Nico. I go by COINTrick and cointricktwitch online. If you want to see more videos like this one, please remember to like and subscribe. Hit that bell so you get notified every time I upload another one of these videos. How's it going? My name's Nico. I go by COINTrick and cointricktwitch online. We've been doing a series of 3-part videos teaching you guys how to make and master classic cocktails and build up your bar and build up your skills at home or at work. This time we're covering the martini. In part 1, we already taught you how to make and master and adjust the simplest recipe for a martini that exists. This time, this is part 2, I'm going to teach you guys or show you guys some extra ingredients that you can get and some substitutions that you can use in the original recipe to make more classic cocktails. And I'll teach you a little bit about how the different variations between like dry and dirty and some common terminology for ordering and making martinis. And then in part 3, we're gonna get weird and I'll teach you guys how to make your signature martini style cocktail and then some advanced techniques that you can use at home and at work to make sure that your drink stands out. Quick note, typically martinis should be stirred because all of the ingredients have relatively the same density and they have the same kind of nature. So they want to commingle and go into solution together relatively readily. So you don't want to shake those. We covered this a little bit in part 1. You can shake it if you want to your personal preference. It's gonna make 3 main differences. Your drink is gonna be cloudier, so it's gonna affect the way it looks. It's gonna be way colder and it's probably gonna be over diluted. Those are gonna be the 3 main differences, but decide for yourself whether you wanna make it shaken or stirred. The reason James Bond orders his martinis, especially the Vesper in like Casino Royale, I think is the most ubiquitous example of this. The reason Ian Fleming, the writer, chose to have James Bond order his drink shaken, not stirred, was not a culinary or mixological reason. He did it to demonstrate how brutally efficient James Bond's character was and that he wasn't going to stand on or wait for, you know, those customs to have your drink stirred. He would rather just have it shaken, banged out super fast, ice cold, cloudy, and the whole 9 yards. So that's more of a character choice than it is a mixological one. But decide for yourselves. Try it both ways at home. Before we get into talking about all of the different kinds of martinis that you can make, it's important first to at least go over some of the terms that go into ordering a martini, some of the things that we hear a lot from behind the bar. So I think the 2 most common ones that people know are dirty and dry. Dirty means that you have some sort of extra brine that's added to this. 99.9% of the time, it's going to be olive juice. Some people will put pickle juice in there, but that's a different drink in my opinion. And then dry actually is a term that means less mixer. This is where a lot of the confusion comes from in ordering martinis. Some people believe that ordering something extra dry or ordering a martini extra dry because it's made with dry vermouth means more dry vermouth. That's not what it means. The dry vermouth is your modifier. So when you're ordering your drink dry or extra dry, you're actually asking for less of that modifier. In fact, some extra dry martinis don't have any dry vermouth in them whatsoever. One joke that bartenders will use is if someone orders one extra dry, depending on where you're working, they'll take the bottle, present it, wave it over the top of the glass and put it down. It's like one of those jokes where like the martini is made facing the bottle, but the bottle's never used. Dirty means that you have that brine. Extra dirty, similarly, when some bartenders hear extra dirty, they'll just omit the dry vermouth entirely because what an extra dirty martini is meant to do is it's meant to provide that salty, briny bite onto the drink. So a couple of extra terms that we hear a lot. There's perfect. Perfect just means that the vermouth is split equally between dry vermouth and sweet vermouth. The same term applies to a Manhattan. A perfect Manhattan is equal parts dry vermouth and sweet vermouth. You also have just your regular vodka martini, which is just a way that people order a martini specifically with vodka. You can also just order a gin martini, but that would be a martini, a regular martini. And most bartenders will just ask, hey, oh, you want a martini? Did you want vodka or gin? Did you have any preference? Cool. Did you want it dirty or dry? And even if you specify extra dry, a good bartender will normally still ask, okay, cool. So you want almost no dry vermouth, because we're always trying to gauge how you want your drink, and we want to make sure that you get what you're asking for, especially what you're paying for. So that covers most of the confusion and that coded language that I talked about before when you're ordering your martinis when you're going out. But what are some extra things that you can get to make extra martinis that already exist? So one of the first things that you can do is you can go out and you can get a different kind of gin, a higher quality gin. You can get vodka. If you made your first martini with gin, you can try making a vodka martini. You can get a citron vodka. You can get new lengtheners, get espresso. You can get pineapple juice. You can get new sweetening components like simple syrup. You can try orange liqueurs. You can use creme de cassis or chambord if you have that. You can replace your vermouth with Lillet Blanc, or you can pick up some sweet vermouth. You can also use some kinds of Amaro in place of your vermouth, like Luxardo Maraschino, or you can use lemon juice as well. You can add spiced components like orange or Angostura bitters, and that olive juice that I mentioned before is technically a spice component or a lengthener. So you can get all that stuff. Now you can make a lot more different kinds of martinis. But Nico, that's a lot of ingredients. How many more drinks can we make now? You're gonna wanna sit down for this because it's a lot. It's a lot of ingredients, but you can make a lot of martini drinks with these. First, you can make an espresso martini, which is gonna be espresso, simple syrup, vodka. You can also make a lemon drop martini, which is gonna be citron vodka, that orange liqueur, and some lemon juice. You can make a Martinez, which is gonna be aged gin, barrel-aged gin, Luxardo Maraschino, sweet vermouth, and some Angostura bitters. You can make a French martini, which is gonna be vodka, creme de cassis, or chambord, whatever you have, and pineapple juice. You can also make a Vesper, which is the martini that James Bond famously orders in Casino Royale, and that's gonna be vodka, gin, and Lillet Blanc. And then last but not least, you can make a breakfast martini, which is gonna be gin, orange liqueur, and lemon juice. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you already know that those are the same ingredients to make a daisy. It's just prepared slightly differently when it's a breakfast martini. So out of all of those variations and all the things that I have in my bar, what am I gonna make? I think we're gonna make an espresso martini. All right, so here we have our espresso. We're not gonna build this in the glass, but this is also going to have to be a shaken cocktail because espresso actually has oils and things in it that if you stir it, they're not really gonna incorporate and emulsify enough to really go into the drink homogeneously. So let me grab a shaker. Set my glass off to the side. Start measuring some of these ingredients. We're gonna do 2 ounces of our vodka. If you have vanilla flavored vodka, you can use that. You can also use whipped cream flavored vodka if you really, really want to. It's just gonna make your drink a little bit sweeter. And then I'm just gonna do 1/4 ounce of this rich simple syrup that I have. Very, very little. Just to take some of that bite off of the bitter espresso that I have. One word of caution, espresso is hot and these shakers are metal, so just be careful. Give it a little test tap before you grab it. One thing that I will do at work is I'll grab the ice first and then measure them together like this, so that when I pull the espresso out, which is sitting over the ice, not in the ice, it should be cold around the edge. Look at that. All right. Strainer. Let's see how this turns out. Look at that. It's so thick I can't really do a long pour. All right, let's grab the traditional garnish for this. 1, 2, 3 whole espresso beans. Those 3 beans, by the way, are meant to represent, I think, health, wealth, and happiness. So it's a traditional garnish. It's not really meant to be messed with in the espresso martini, but do you. Let's see how it tastes. Cheers. Oh, yeah, that's something I needed. I was like starting to run low on energy. I'm immediately feel that kick from the espresso. It's actually really, really good. Not perfect. Even when you're learning new cocktails, you should still go back and do that R&D, figure out how to make these adjustments like we mentioned in part 1. But this is a great cocktail. But why did I choose to make the espresso martini instead of all of the other ones, especially when I could have made something like the Vesper that's much more similar to the original martini recipe? Well, the espresso martini also has like a whole lot of weird misinformation and just ill will around it for some reason. Bartenders, largely, we do not like sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes don't like when people order espresso martinis. There's two big reasons, but the main reason is that in order to make a good one, you have to be using fresh espresso, and pulling an espresso shot can take anywhere from at least 30 seconds if you're going really fast, or typically it takes about a whole minute. And when you're working at a bar, you're not in a coffee shop, so you probably don't have like a 4-group head machine to pour 4 shots at once. So if you have a table of people who have finished their dinner and they decide they want a nightcap, and they order 8 espresso martinis, and each one takes a minute just to pull the shot, just working on the espresso machine will set all of the other drinks that you need to make at the same time, set all of those back 8 minutes. And when you have a regular ticket time or drink time of 45 seconds to a minute and a half, which is what mine was when I was still working full time, it begins to feel like everyone's drinks are taking way, way too long. And then you have some simple drinks, some highball drinks like gin and tonics, vodka sodas that are suddenly taking 10 minutes to come out. The second reason that bartenders get apprehensive about making espresso martinis is because you never only make one. Once the machine is running and everyone smells the coffee and they see the drink and they see all the effort that goes into it, there's always at least one more ticket with an espresso martini from someone who goes, hey, that smells amazing, I'll have what he's having. But hey, you know, it's fine. My recommendation would just be patient, right? This drink takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of finesse. So just be patient if you order an espresso martini. You should be fine. So that is it for part 2. In part 3, we're gonna get weird. I'm gonna show you guys how to make a signature martini style cocktail, and then some extra techniques that you can use to make sure that your drink stands out from everyone else's drinks. Thank you guys for tuning in, sticking around, showing up. I do appreciate it. Thanks for all of your help and support. Hopefully I have been helpful and supportive for you all as well, since that's why we do everything that we do here. If you learned anything during this video, please remember to like and subscribe and comment what drinks you want to learn how to make at home, what drinks you want to learn how to make at work. And I'll see you guys in the next video.